Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Gardening. I'm Norma Samuel with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, UF-IFAS Extension, Sumter County. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the plant propagation technique of grafting, and my husband, Lesroy Samuel, will demonstrate that technique for us. So let's go talk with Lesroy. Lesroy, thank you for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk Gardening, and we're happy to have you to share your expertise with us on grafting new plants. So, what can you tell us about grafting?
Grafting, by definition, is the union of two plant parts in such a manner that they will grow together harmoniously and become one plant.
Okay, and what plants do you usually graft?
There's a number of plants you can propagate by that technique. Um, Most of the citrus are propagated by that method: persimmons, peaches, plums, and nectarines.
Okay, now as a backyard gardener, what tools would you recommend for using this technique?
You need a grafting knife. Your grafting knife, you could also use a kitchen knife. The key is it should have a sharp, straight edge like a razor.
And where can one find a grafting knife?
You probably could find it in Home Depot. This particular one I bought online.
Okay,
You need a clipper, a secateur,
okay.
and you also need stretch tape or grafting tape.
And where did you find that grafting tape?
This one I bought in Lowe's. You can also get it online.
Okay. So that's pretty much all you need?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Leslie, tell us about the benefits of grafting.
The benefit of grafting is you get a tree that is generally more manageable as opposed to if you're growing that plant from seeds. You get a plant that's going to come into production much earlier, usually 1.5 to 3 years, preferably 3 years. You want it to last 3 years before you allow it to produce. In that time, the tree would produce enough sturdiness to support the fruits. If you grow from seeds, you probably will take 5 to 10 or more years to get a fruit, and you're not sure what you're going to get given that fruit had cross pollination. But with grafting, you know exactly what you're getting. You're going to choose a material from a plant that's already established, bearing about 5 years, so you know exactly what characteristics you're going to get from the grafted plant.
Okay. So tell us about the different components that you need for grafting in terms of the plants that you're going to merge together.
There are two components. The upper part of the plant is called a scion, and that has all the eating quality, the visual characteristics that you're looking for, whether it be color, shape, growth habit, pest and disease resistance, the taste, those kind of qualities you're looking for in the scion material. In the rootstock material, you're looking for a different set of characteristics like vigor, yield, resistance to pest and disease organisms.
Okay. So you're going to show us how to graft a persimmon today, and if you could begin by telling us about how you go about selecting your scion.
Ideally, I like to do budding and grafting in the early morning hours. That's when you have maximum sap flow, so you tend to get a better union. You want to select last season's flush or last season growth, and where the eyes, as you can see where I'm pointing here, in the leaf axils are fully developed. So you take my clipper or secateur and remove that shoot. So this is going to be the scion part of the new plant.
Okay. So how do you prep the scion?
I'm going to remove all the leaves. So for that I need my trusty knife.
And why are you removing the leaves?
I'm removing the leaves so I can reduce the surface area of the plant. If you have all the leaves on there remaining, you'll be losing more water to evapotranspiration.
Okay.
So here's the scion that is already prepared with the leaves removed. Now we're going to move over to the rootstock.
Okay. We're now going to take you through the process of grafting this persimmon plant that we have that came up in our garden. So Lesroy, if you could go ahead and take them through the process.
So this is the rootstock. I'm going to prepare it for grafting. So I'm going to remove the leaves in the area where I'm going to do the grafting operation. Then I'm going to remove the top of the plant about a foot above soil level with my clipper, just like that. Next step is to make a vertical cut down the middle of the rootstock.
And how long is that cut?
About 2.5 to 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to prepare the scion that I'm holding in my left hand here. So I'm going to remove the leaves. I'm using a knife to remove the leaves, and I'm cutting the leaves downward. That way I can see the eye coming out of the leaf axil so I don't damage those eyes. So here you have the scion ready for grafting.
Okay.
I'm going to make 2 cuts on the side of the scion. Just removing the bark. Here you have it. Peel the tip of it so it fits more snugly into the rootstock. Place it down the rootstock like a wedge, and that's the name of this particular type of graft. It's called a wedge graft.
Now, how big would you say the size of the stem is? Would you say this is about pencil thickness?
Just a little bit bigger than pencil thickness. Ideally, I like to do them at pencil size or thereabout. So I'm going to use a stretch tape or grafting tape to seal the union up. I'm going to start from the bottom of the graft, the air, and work my way up.
And how long is this piece of grafting tape?
It's about 15 to 18 inches. It just depends on the size of the material you're working with. You want to pull it, stretch it as you go along. The whole idea is to keep out any moisture, to minimize any rot, and to have a good union taking place. So I'm going to tape it above the union and tape it around that area a few times to have it sealed shut. Then I'm going to tape it go in the other direction. Then we make a tie at the bottom of it.
Now, how long will you keep this tape on here?
You usually take it off after about 3 months once you have the graft being successful and you have the plant growing and you figure it's healed up sufficiently.
Okay.
Here we have a persimmon that was grafted probably just about a month ago. This was used, technique using this grafting operation was the wedge graft, as we demonstrated earlier. Important to know that if any of these eyes below the grafted area right here would grow out, you want to remove them because they're the original rootstock material. You only want the area above the tape area, which is a scion material, to grow out and become the new plant.
And how long do you plan to leave the tape on this one?
I'll probably take it off in about 3 months. It's stretch tape, so as the plant grow and develop, it will stretch to accommodate the plant. Once you see it start to affecting the plant, then you definitely want to remove it. Sometimes it actually just bursts off itself. Here's another persimmon tree that was grafted. In this one, we use the side graft as opposed to the wedge graft that I showed you earlier. If you look on the eyes, you can see the eyes are just now beginning to flush out.
And how long have you grafted this? How long has it been?
This has been a month as well.
Now, why did you decide to use this technique instead of the wedge?
The rootstock material was a bit bigger and hardier than the wedge graft. So when they get to this stage, it's more ideal to use the wedge graft as opposed to the side graft as opposed to the wedge graft.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk Gardening. I hope you enjoyed learning about the plant propagation technique of grafting. And please do not hesitate to contact us if you have questions about this and other plant propagation techniques. I'm Norma Samuel with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, Sumter County.